First of all, someone who's played for the Swans, captained the Swans, and is now part of the coaching setup. Only just arrived. There's a drink on the way. Please welcome to his seat, Trundle and O'Leary. This is on the sparkling water. Ladies and gentlemen, now a household name throughout the nation, a television star who just weeks from now we would be unable to even be in his presence without him being surrounded by security. Please welcome Alan Curtis, everyone. I don't think he's getting on, but that's okay, he's doing it. Look at that. There we are. It's right there. Now let's go back to someone who was representing the Swans as a player, and now he's our club ambassador. And despite his peculiar North Wales type accent, he's one of our own. Ladies and gentlemen, Sheila, you never see. I just went for a little sit down. I wouldn't want to ruin the lightning, right? Love the trousers, fantastic. And you were 8 times really seen it again. Love you, darling. Ladies and gentlemen, the Trundle! So, we put questions, you know, perfect for the question to ask, but I'm going to go to Christian first, because this whole evening we're supporting the Motor Neurone Disease Association. You all knew, and you both people that you coached it, you both played with it, but I remember that day when Benny came back to the stadium. He came as a guest in the 1912 club, and then you and Leon walked him out of the pitch, not giving away any secrets, but I've never seen the two of you so nervous about doing something. Your memories of it as a player?
But like I said in the press last week, he was very warrior-like, very strong, aggressive type of player, very reliable, and I think the way he sort of went through his illness sort of mirrored that as well. But yeah, and he goes, obviously the goal he scores in the Hull game sort of goes under the radar a little bit because the James is happening, but obviously he's a very important goal for the goal that day. But yeah, I mean, go back to that day, it was a very good, we spoke to Brits, and I've actually done quite a bit myself and the local company called Trundle. I've been involved in it. We've done a lot for the charity over a number of years. We lost a close friend with it, going back 5 or 6 years ago. So it's it's a horrible illness, and it's to see someone who's fit and strong, very young age. That way it was a really day.
You were part of the coaching team when you played for us. He was just such a nice guy. Lovely guy, wasn't he? You had a right game with the ball here.
Yeah, but I mean, it's echoed to see Len was exactly what we needed at the time, but it was a really sort of desperate situation. I mean, that's all we all talked about it before and thought about it. Even talked about the fact that the prospect of us going out of the league and everything we've experienced the last 15 years in the Premier League, League Cups, triumphs, so probably that would never happen. So Lenny came in, and as Chris was saying, he was really down to earth. He was a real, what we call a post bro. Everybody, loved him. He knew exactly. He would be something like, say, Jay Footballer. He came in into his job, let him flash, trained really hard, so real good standards in terms of training, and off the park as well. He was a really lovely friend, a lovely family. And just to say that, to actually see then in later life, I was actually sort of on the day that, you were the outside water on the pitch, I was actually, we just finished on Rome, I think it was, and then going in. And even though it was actually a bit of a shock to see him, because he was such a strong, really sort of strong, very physical. There's a little bit of a menace about him as well. And it was really sad, but again, with Chris's sentiments there. The way that he obviously handled this horrible illness was exactly what I expected to do it. We sort of took it full on, and he meant it full on. Unfortunately, there's no cure for this disease. But Lenny, he played a huge part in the team, which was probably the most important game that Trundle's ever played, ever. And hopefully we'll never get to that situation again. We've had great promotions, we've had cup wins, we've had everything. But everything revolved around that one game is Man City, and the fact that we had to win. And as I say, Tom, gets quite rightly, gets all the plaudits. But Lenny's going to be a sort of crucial role in that game. He's the one that got us 3-2 just at half time, and he gave us just such a huge lift, massive lift, and gave the crowd a lift. And really the adrenaline we got from that, we scored the 4th goal, and it sort of just drove us on. So even though he's only with us for a very short time, he had a huge impact on me.
Trundle, you clap anytime. Anybody who has a life-changing or life-threatening illness, it's a shock. It's for them, their families, and for people who know them. But when we look at guys like yourself, who are incredibly fit, well, not happy but it's almost even more difficult to accept. It shouldn't be, but you're fit, you train every day, and that just sort of makes it so cruel. And it's no more cruel, no less cruel than any other person who has this awful disease. But you just feel it when it's one of your heroes who gets it.
You do, Kevin. I think what Chris... Nice touch. I think if you saw about what Chris said, and you look at Lenny as a player and as a man, he was powerful, strong, aggressive, and this illness, that takes everything away from you. And I think it goes to show what Lenny was as a man, because if I'm being honest, if that was happened to me, I probably wouldn't want to come out and face people, because I wouldn't want to show what's happening to me, to what I was. But I think with Lenny, you look at the good what he done from it. We started the foundation, he was on the news, he was speaking about it, he was letting the cameras into his life, and he wanted to show people what was happening to him. And for me, that shows everything about Lenny, what he was as a man, because he wasn't embarrassed about it. He was saying, listen, this is what's happening to me, and I will show the world what's happening to me, but I want good to come from it, I want press, and I want to try and raise money for the foundation, and that goes to show everything about him. I played in a charity game for him last week up in Bury, where his son, I played up front with his son, and his son scored a hat-trick in the game. His mum was there, his wife was there, and to see all them ex-players and all them fans turn up for him, and to the occasion what it was, it showed how special Lenny was, not as a footballer, but as a man as well.
Fantastic. So, we'll move on. We'll send you to questions. We'll come to you in a moment. Just question, how's your weekend going?
Tough weekend, long and tough. I would just have to Kurt now, probably came back, the gaffer, we had it on the bus and went back, just the staff and they just to go through it. And now we're in for 8 o'clock in the morning to go through it again. So before the players get it. So it was tough. And I mean, look, we've got to give Burnley credit. They're probably the best team we've come up against. And just chatting with Kurt that we've seen in the championship for a long time. And we were just, we can, these were back, yeah, you can sort of carry 1 or 2 players if they're not on at the best of the game. But we had 5, 6, 7 yesterday, which was just slightly off. And it's not a place to go when you've got that. So yeah, it was difficult to take, but we're going in the right direction. And I think we've shown over the last 5 or 6 weeks that, you know, we're in a good place. The players are enjoying it. You guys quite a busy week this week.
I was chatting with the team over there, most of whom went to the game yesterday.
Yeah, passed him on the motorway.
Even though buses quicker than
It's like the weekends, you're quicker than them, Kurt said everybody passed you yesterday. I won't share everything they said, but they did agree with you on one thing, that Burnley will probably be the best side that they've seen us play this season. Isn't that right, love?
Yeah.
She's a spokesman for the team. Any other question? Nigel, it's your game, you can ask whatever you like. I come over the microphone.
Evening, guys. First of all, thank you for coming here tonight and helping us to raise some money. We're not just raising for Motor Neurone Disease, we're also raising for the Former Players Association this evening. And I just wonder if you can tell us a little bit more about the association, how you're going to take it forward, and what maybe it could have done for Len in his situation.
And any members still want to play on Saturday night?
Well, the whole idea of the Former Players Association, the first and foremost is that we want to get the ex-players back involved with the club again. I think that's important. You know, I think a lot of players feel that welcome. It's never been the case, to be fair. Catherine Thomas works for the club. She's been brilliant so far in terms of the way that the association. And to say, basic. And you know, we love them to sort of come to the game. They can come if they want to speak. You know, we get these sort of different hosts every game. So if they're confident enough then to sort of speak in front of people, then that's great. But if they just want to come, they don't have to get involved at all. Just come to the game. They get 2 tickets for every game. We put them up into the common stand. They go into the Gower Lounge, Kath. And they can go there, they can have a couple of beers with, and just sort of get reassociated with the club again. But you know, it's more than that as well. You know, we've been fundraising now for the last. It's been a couple of years, but with COVID, we're probably 2 years behind schedule. Whereas we probably could have been a lot further down. I think we've got some like 80 odd members as well now who've sort of got reconnected with the club. Some have been to the club, some have been to games. Literally just sort of got 2 tickets, watch the game and go home, which is great. You know, it doesn't matter. It's really what they want to do. But we've also, you know, we've actually sent a letter, again, Catherine sent a letter. So the ex-players, it's a different era, the players that play at the moment. You know, the money is a lot better. Financially, years ago, I mean, it was just a job, you know, and if you were at a short career, you would never have earned the money that the players are earning these days, especially in the Premier League and so. So it's really with the funding that we sort of, you know, the funds that we sort of gradually built up, then it's an opportunity as well for us to help them in terms of, especially with the crisis going on at the moment, the fuel crisis. And if they struggle a little bit, then we're in a position where we can actually sort of give them some financial support, as well as, you know, any support that And again, it's credit Catherine for sort of putting it all together. We're all, myself, Trundle and Leon, are on the subcommittee, and we were actually going to meet later on, which I'm sure if we both go to that, won't we? Depends on the night goes there. And obviously, it's really about lots of clubs have got it, and lots of clubs have got associations. And we've been perhaps a little bit slow, but through COVID, but we are catching it. And as I say, 80 odd, probably we're looking to get. Imagine everybody who's played for the Swans. If you've only played one game for the Swans, you're entitled to come and join us. I think part of the problem we've experienced is the fact that the older players, everything is done online these days. And what we try to do now is actually get forms out, so they can actually fill in the form, or somebody can fill in the form for them. Or even they can bring Catherine will fill the form out for them. So we try to get some of the older players. Lots of the players who played the last couple of years, they are members. But we try to sort of target maybe some of the older generation as well. And in terms of what we do for Lenny, obviously there would be the emotional support. And there might have been the financial sort of aspect to it as well, the fact that he would have needed, I'm sure, transport. It could be anything, but probably not in a position here with the funds that he would have needed to maybe make alterations to the house and stuff like that. But we would certainly be in a position where we could have given some sort of financial support, as we tried to do with some of the ex-players who were in touch with us.
It's the Swansea ladies as well. For those who play for Swansea ladies, which has been running longer than people realise.
Yeah, it's for both, and obviously, you look at the Swansea ladies, and Kurt spoke about, a lot of the older players not being on social media and stuff. Kurt sent his application by pigeon carrier, so no, but we just want to try and get as many people in involved. And as Kurt said, it's about players for our football club. We've had 7 years in the Premier League. We've had a lot of time in the Championship, but a lot of the other time has been in League 2, League 1, and these players will need help in some sort of way. And as a footballer, the lads will tell you sometimes you're too proud to ask for it. You might be in trouble, but you're too proud to ask for it. So when these guys are messaging in an email into Kat and to us and saying that they need help, we've got to help them out. So we had a meeting, and all the former players that messaged, email the club to get help. I know Kat got in touch with them, and we're going to try and help as many people as we can, because that's what it's about. And as you say, it's even little things like just asking for tickets. Some people might have lost their link to go and ask someone. But as a football club, I think Swansea City as a football club, we're known as a family club. Yeah. We want to stick together, we want to help each other. And as the former players association, that's what we want to try and do, and bring everyone together.
Chris, who was the Swans team that you first started watching? Most of us could probably, you've got Tony Milton, Nick Thomasville, Ted Goither, Herbie Williams. Who did you start watching?
Roger Freestone. When I first used to come over on my own as a kid from Botswana, it'd be Roger Freestone, John Ford, Keith Walker, Mark Harris, Ruben Appola, John Conforth, Russell Cotton. Those played, Frank Barrosi, just before that. So Colin West.
You're the new look, sir?
I was asked once, was he the best player who played it? I said I was only born. You said I was born. Yeah, I did say that.
Who's the best you have played with him?
Good. Trundle was different. Should we say you got the likes of Leon, Joanne, Jan Moldy, good players.
Trundle, I'm going to sit there now. I can't get up, it's really... forget it. You probably know, you sell credit for a man of 38 and plus that. Has things changed? I mean, you've done the training ground all the time. Have things changed to the regime that you remember? Did you have that similar regime to what they have today?
No, I think things have changed a lot. I think if you look at the boys now, I think there is more, and I think social media and everything, the lads have just got to live their life as a footballer, go and train, work hard, go home and do that in the championship as well. There's a lot of games, so when we started, you know, and even Kurt would say this, you know, there's no camera phones, there's nothing about, so it's like, our lives would probably be a lot different to what the lads are now.
But, in apart from on the team, training at take bands, you still would have had a disciplined regime.
Yeah.
Yes. The night before game would have been disciplined.
Yeah, it would be. Like the night before the game, you know, it's time to relax and then go to get ready for the game the next day.
So what happened in Northampton?
Well, so what it was, Kev, we were playing an away game. So what we'd always do, we'd have our evening meal, then we go into the bar next door just to watch the football. There'd be no drinking involved. Then we just watched the football. So then we went in, and obviously, I think it was in December, so around that time we had Christmas parties and things like that. So there was the party going on. I don't know where they were, but they were all dressed as St. Trinians. So they were dressed in there, and we were in the bar messing around. And I was
For those who don't know, St. Trinians, what?
well, I think these would know what St. Trinians are. Probably really might not know St. Trinians. So, do you know what it is, Lou? Yeah. Okay. So they were all dressed in fancy dress. So then I was having banter with a couple of them, having a mess around, and then one of them was more vocal towards me. So then I said, "Oh, room 231." So then I went back to my room, and then my phone rang, and then it was the girl ringing my phone. So then she ended up coming down to my room. So she come into the room. We were in there for like 30 seconds, and then there was a knock on the door.
30 seconds. That's so strange.
No, listen, she was literally in there for 30 seconds, and there was a knock on the door.
How were you dressed then?
Well, it's very hot in them rooms, Kev, so... And I don't know whether it was off the phone call, but I felt the need to slip in just to a towel, because it is very hot. So then she come in, I had the towel on, come inside, and I literally started talking to her, and then he was bang on the door. So I thought, the lads have heard me messing around, they've seen her go up, it's them outside the door. So I carried on talking for 5 minutes, bang, 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 knock on the door. So I went up to me people, I looked through the hole, and then Kenny Jackett's big face is just looking at me. So I'm like, so I went back to the thing, I said, I'll take a notice. Nothing carried on, and then he went and got one of the maids to open the door. So Kenny's opened the door, he's coming in and he's shouting, "Trundle, you let me down here." I said, "Gaffer, I'm not even doing anything." So he's shouting at me, going on for like a couple of minutes, and then the girl said, "Listen, we haven't done nothing." And he went, "Listen, love, you're sitting there in suspenders and a miniskirt. Don't tell me he wasn't going to do anything." So then I said, "Listen, you're going to have to go." She ended up going, but then I think me and Kenny got mixed up, because my idea of a warm-up to Kenny's was something different.
Did you play that day? Do you remember that incident?
He was in the wardrobe.
He was in the wardrobe. Kurt, as a coach, are you ever aware of things like this?
We probably downstairs. Send the voice away, then we carry on then. And it was much more relaxing than this. I think that everybody...
Tell Kenny that.
But personally, quite fascinating to be fair. But I can years ago, again, it always seemed to be falling around Christmas. And we had a lovely tradition years ago when everybody in the staff would have all the playing staff would have turkey for Christmas. And great, so we go to the boardroom, turkeys would all be laid out there. We'd have a glass of champagne with the chairman, Martin Stewart, and wish you Merry Christmas and stuff like that. And of course we're all dressed up, and the turkeys, they range from £12 to like £20. So it depends how they rate it, what size turkey you want. So if you look at £12 there, you probably can't represent you, or you'll be gone there in this case. For the £20 there, you'll be okay. Outside, roughly in the middle is it. And so anyway, we have a drink with the chairman, and then of course we all go down, and it would be the week leading up to Christmas. And all the nightclubs would be open, the Balwan would be open, and in the afternoons and stuff like that. So we'd all go down with the turkeys, and then we'd all be having a drink in the bar, the girls were all dancing on the floor, and then they put their handbags on the floor. Because we'd go up and we'd have turkeys on the floor. I want that right. One of the boys, we can't try again, unfortunately, the days was right, but a couple of years and he's like old. But one of the boys, he sort of, he's from this girl, was talking to this girl, he said, you hold my turkey, I'll go fetch the car and give her a lift home. Of course, she's run up with the turkey, run up at him, and I'm right. She might get off, she goes off. Somebody else walking on the market and trying to find them a turkey so we can take home. And then when he went to left, the massive ones, the other ones left, the little ones, there's only like £8 or £9. And of course he'd take them home to his business, to his wife. And he's like, well, you're not going to be there the end of the season yet.
Charlie Hartfield and Tony Bird with the pigeons, there we go. It's great camaraderie though, isn't it? Has that changed? You're in the dressing room, like at the training ground. Is there still that camaraderie that you remember that Kurt and Trunch talks about?
Not that we have. I think, like Trunch was alluded to there, it's completely changed, They actually know. We'd have a day off we look forward to. We'd meet up, we'd go maybe off for a beer before, and the night before we'd go certainly in the afternoon and we'd head off. Now they ask you to come in, they want to do more. It's very different to what it was. Very, very different. Yes, look. Yeah, I think so. I think over the years it's completely changed. I think when we first went to Roberto came in and he was talking about, fines if you don't sleep in, they know what to do it, But there was reason behind it, and it worked. But no, it's the same. There's always back in the change room, and that will never change. But as the social side of it and friendships go, I don't think you'll ever be back like the way it was.
We finished here. Could have been carried on. How important? Do you ask a question? Go on in.
Okay.
Yeah, go on, Phil.
I just wanted to ask if, obviously the game's getting more professional now from when years back, having to be here, this, that, and the other. But do you think coaches are coaching the flair out of the players?
Who's that question? Right. It's for anyone to do.
I think generally in society, the way that people learn to play the game has totally changed over the years. I mean, myself, Kurt, and Trans was street football with your mates playing it, and you basically had to learn yourself. And I think through everything, when you say about more professional, you probably would have been saying that when we were playing. I think it was around Kenny was just around that time we started to watch the games back and sort of see where things went well or what things didn't, and obviously, oh, that's slightly new. Then it might be someone coming in with a bit of a new thing with the diets or the weights or two things together. So at every moment, at every sort of different sort of stage in life, I suppose, that people say, oh, it's more professional, and now it's, I was thinking this earlier on, in fact, there's actually two coaches go to away games now, one with the staff and one with the players. So if you can imagine, like, you go back, it was just one coach, there's 15 players, a manager, a coach, maybe a keeper coach. We used to travel, we didn't have any kit people, you know, we used to do it, and that. So it's completely changed now, the science involved in it, and everything's crazy. You know, you monitor right the way down to the finest of details. As that then with the players, I think they have heavily reliant then on how they've been brought up right the way through. So I think it was just 7 or 8 years of age now, there's something like a pre-academy. So once they're in there, they've been coached from that point in time. Is it right? I don't know, I've got the answer to that. It is what it is right now. You can see flair players, the game's totally changed again. You go into the sort of the foreign element of it, where it's very much more tactical, how teams set up forward, you know, attacking wise, defensively wise, and you hear a lot more people saying tactically he's very good. You know, it's not so much like you said now, well, he's a flair player. What does he do? You look at it both, and I think the best teams can carry a couple. I don't think many other teams can. But yeah, it's a disappointment.
Do you think it's discipline, or do you think the coach trying to that now? He's yeah. But do you think as time has gone on, do you think we maybe try and
I don't. It's how to that's what I'm trying to say. It's self-education really. It's going on and trying things. And what I'm saying is 6-7 years of age, they've been told to do this, do that. So possibly yes, but without it, you don't know what the results would be. It's a toss of a coin, you know. And I think what you've got to be very careful is if we don't do it, but if someone else will do it, then you flip to the parent side of it, then they go, well, my son's not a job. You know, you're a great parent to do it. Personally, I prefer the way we did it. So I couldn't sign until I was 14. I'd had a bit of childhood playing tennis, rugby, this, that, and the other. But my main sport was football. I played football. And then when it came to 14, then I had to make a decision. But I was at 14 years of age, I had a bit of a childhood, a bit of fun. Yes, some discipline, but again, I do understand it, and I totally agree with you. There's not enough players like me now. There's not. I mean, look, I could run around and kick people. He wouldn't run around, but he could absolutely trick people. I know it. I remember seeing you goal, remember the 1-5 Simon? Yeah. And I think half the team, that even now half the players won't be able to do that, because they don't think that way. You know, they turn on, look at the coach, or what do they do?
I think there is good coaches here, like Messi has sort of come through, you know, the Barcelona system where they churn players up for fun. And they used to with Pep Guardiola. If you've got a good coach, he would coach and he would encourage the players. And trans, probably eventually you can trans and he'd come back. The fact that you came into the game right there, was it 23, 24? I mean, I was 18 coming into the game, you know, and I bring rugby in the morning, football in the afternoon. And then, you know, by the time you sort of go to professional football, then, you know, I think you bring your skills, you know, literally in the field then, you know, you just go to play in the streets. And when I was looking at one, you know, for the first, I would say, probably the first, at least half hour, when we first started, you have to rise everywhere. You know, and you learn, part of the skill was looking after yourself as well. And not that I kicked anybody, but I made sure that I wasn't kicked, and I was kicked. But, you know, people, you know, you can tackle from behind, and, you know, like, you know, people that, even in training, you know, run away as well, when Tommy Smith, people like that, you know, in training, and they quit. Not purposely, but that's the way that they learn. So you know, when I, you know, sort of always looking at them, just in training. So even in training, you were preparing for games. So the games were on the second inch. And Tommy, Jesus, whatever. And some of you will see, would have seen, I always laugh when Tommy, Bill Shankly did about Tommy Smith when he was asked how hard is Tommy Smith. He said, well, put it this way, he said, Tommy was born in late May 1945. 3 months later, I'm not fit to surrender. He was really scary boy, you know. Friends from Liverpool, he would have known well, he was, I mean, Windell in Bonkers. He still is Bonkers. But then, you know, we had, how the game was in those days, when Harry Gray was the manager. Aside from he used to bring a bottle of whiskey in, which had to be drank before we went out. A bottle of whiskey, pass it on the change room before we went out. But our first corner, all I had to do was chip the ball into the goalkeeper, and then we'd never the boy called Bob Becker, and Vicky Evans, Bob Evans sent from Shrewsbury, shouldn't be the farmer, he was just wanting to punch people and stuff like that. Then we had Vicky Evans, and his ex-manager described him as being temperamental. He was 50% temperament, 50% mental. And all we had to do was chip out of the goalkeeper, and then the three of them just smashed the goalkeeper. He said, you've got to try and knock him out. And that was the way the game was. That's nothing to do with the scale back there, but what it taught you was that if you were cute and you were clever, then you know you would use your ability to sort of try and negotiate up with those situations. But you know, I mean, I think he's in his 60s now, and it's and technically they're very, very good. And you do get, you know, great teams, but I think the emphasis is on passing rather than actually dribbling. You see him dribbling, you don't see many dribblers these days. It's all about that, you know, his possession, you know, all the stats that come out. You know, yeah, but then you watch Man City and when they lost today, but they just brilliant to watch it. You know, they coach probably the top coach in the world at the moment. And it is teams, yeah, it gives them freedom of expression. You can coach within that element as well, where they got the discipline in terms of what they have to do, but they give the license as well. You've been there to you know, you just literally you try to make an incident training for him to go and just, you know, express himself at the pitch, and he was given a license, but he never tried to. If he ever did that, then he would have been halfway, which probably explains the Bristol City. I always say to friends, I understood why you went to Bristol City, but if he had stayed with us in the Championship, then he would have played a big part in us going into the Premier League. And in the Premier League, he would have been superstar.
Having you say on where you're saying about the flair players, and I agree with you, but I think if you go back in time, everyone played 4-4-2. So everyone played the same formation. So your flair players were your starting players where they would do something out of the ordinary, where everyone would be matched up against. And years ago it would be win your battles and we'd win the game. So if you had more players better on that day to win the battles, you would win the game. Where now, I think the game has changed completely. It's not about matching up, because everyone will play different formations against you. So you've then got to be more smarter technically, and I think by coaches, by doing that, will probably work on possession. I think if you keep the ball more, the team you're playing against is going to have less chance of scoring it. And I think now if you look at players when they're playing, it's like they don't want to give the ball away. We want to keep the ball, and I think that's the modern game now as well. I think teams want to keep the ball, but as a player, you're not programmed like that. You're programmed to go and try stuff. You're programmed to go and take a chance to do stuff. If you look at Kurt when he was playing, he was one of the players where he would have probably said, everyone where get the ball to Kurt and he'll do something magic. That was your game plan. It wasn't as technical as what it is now in tactical, where you have to think about all different formations. So I think when you say the flair players have gone, I do agree with it, because I don't think you will get players like, even if we go back to say like Gaza before that Maradona, where they're just individual players and everyone works around it. You look at a team like Man City, you look at a team like Barcelona, okay, you'll have Messi who will do stuff, but they still all have to work in a certain formation, and they all have a job to do. So even Messi or Ronaldo, when he was at Madrid, he would have a job saying, listen, this is what your job is. He would never just go and say, I'll go out and play. You would still have a job in that cog, because if you don't do your job, that affects every single player in it. And I think that's where the game is changing. And for me, I do think that is a bit worse, because I know, like, even I look back before, like, your Rodney Marsh, Stan Bowles, George Best, them type of players who you go and watch and they'll do something completely different. I think they still have individual brilliance in the game now, but it's changed to what it was in them days, where you would see them as flair players and someone who you would just go and watch for them to entertain you. I don't think you get that now. I think the entertainment is a different way, it's in a team way.
My next question was, whenever you and I do these things, we do kind of look for the funny stories at certain points to get everybody giggling, but I think it's fair to say that you weren't just a great footballer, you were a great entertainer. And probably Lee Trundle playing for Swansea City helped raise the profile of the club. You know, we started to play, especially in the Roberto, a different kind of football, but your appearances on Saturday morning on Sky really started people talking about Swansea City and about Lee Trundle. And you set it right, not just to be a great footballer, but you want to entertain.
But I think we'll go back to that point as well, where the way I play football, that's the way I enjoy watching playing football. So I want to play football, I want to go out and play with a smile on my face. I want to do stuff which makes people smile, and I want to do stuff in the game where I think it's different. I'll play in a team, but as Kris will tell you, he played with me, I would probably play as an individual in that team. And to be fair, the rest of the lads would probably then sort of take that and let me do my thing, but then probably do my work for me as well, because there'll be a lot of time where Kris will tell you, if I'm a centre forward, I'm not chasing down defenders, I'm not running in corners, chasing balls and you put it in. But I think they would sacrifice that side of it to then think, well, okay, we know what you're good at, you go and do that, and we'll do the rest. And I think that's why we worked in that way, because I understand in that. If we look at a football team and hard work, a lot of them lads around me done a lot more hard work than what I did. But then I'm probably the end product of where they're giving me that ball and I'm doing that bit of skill and scoring that goal. But at the end of the day, as a team, they're the ones who are doing that hard work. And fans will always see the goal scorer and they'll always see someone who's doing things. But for me as a player inside, I understand football, I understand the game, and I understand how important the rest of the team was to let me go and do that, because without them doing that, I wouldn't have been able to do my thing.
So, let's go back to probably one of your most famous moments in a Swansea City shirt that you'll always be known for and remembered. Did you know what was on the t-shirt in the flash?
If there's any police officers in here, no, I didn't know what was on it. Because obviously, after that, that was probably, for me at that time, and for Swansea for a lot of years since Kurt's time, that was probably our biggest time. We get into a cup final, even though it's the Johnson's main trophy, I know we went a lot further from Kurt's time, we were in the top flight. But at that time, that was a massive game for us to go to Cardiff and to play in that game. 30,000 Swans fans going down to watch it. And at the end of the day, there was only our fans in there. The t-shirts and flag got thrown on. I put the t-shirts on, I held the flag up. And then I remember coming back, the party was in here, and someone said that the police wanted to speak to us. I said, what for? Because you held the flag up on it. So what? What's wrong with that? So then obviously we had to then go to the police to get in touch with us. We had to go to the police station in Cardiff. So I went there, they interviewed us and everything, and then we had to go up in front of the Welsh FA. So I ended up getting a one-match ban. I got a week's wages from the Welsh FA, and I got a 4-year ASBO as well. But obviously that made me feel more welcome at home when I went back with my mates in Liverpool.
Explain to us what's happened, because he got an essay postcode. I remember going, when I worked on the radio, going to somebody to tell them that they won £2,000, and they happened to be a neighbour. And I gave him £2 grand. I was just going to give him £2 grand, and he told me, of course, I'm a Cardiff fan. So I took the money back. And then I was told by the station that legally he was entitled to the money because he won it fairly. I said, yeah, but he's a scumbag. But, you know, but it is quite bizarre, isn't it, that, Trundle comes from a city where a mother and a son could be Liverpool supporters, a father and a daughter could be Everton supporters, but it's a strange situation in your town.
Yeah, it is. I think it's very generational. Over the last few years, there's a lot more Swans fans, obviously, because of the success we've had. But I think, like I say, with generations, you'll have like a father and a son, a brother that supports it. There's gaps in between, but unfortunately, it is. It's just that we've been very good the last few years. It's been really great walking on the town. But I mean, I used to, there's people, good friends of mine, Cardiff fans, walking down the street and they'd be like, you jack bastard, you this, you that. Well, I love you, they shout at you, right, but it is, it's very, very. And they're not sort of in areas either, they sort of spread out around. But it's brilliant when it comes to Derby. It's really good.
Well, we soon find out who's later on. Have you got a question? Oh, flip it. Oh, you had it because he's actually, I'll put you in there.